Hey there. Welcome to my talk about Doom. Really, my initial thoughts on it. I'm going to start off showing off. I guess this is level 6, I think. The first thing I'm going to throw out is my only real complaint about this game, and that's that the name it's Doom. Why couldn't they name it Doom 4 or I don't know, Doom anything other than just Doom? Like all these games these days, they try to do like reboots of it, and then they just call it the initial game name, and it's confusing. Because now I'm like, I want to go play Doom. Well, okay, I probably am one of I would say I'm one of the few people. Well, maybe, but I'm one of like a small number, I guess, of people that will still play like the original Doom just because it was a great game. Now out of this one, so as you can see, there's a lot of just like action going on. This game is really focused on the action. It actually really nailed it. Just everything that's going on is just ridiculous. The amount of explosions and shit coming at you while you're running around. And I mean, the game even tells you in the tips, if you stand still, you're gonna die. And that's pretty true. Like, if you don't like move constantly, you're gonna get killed a lot. So this is actually not a bad game by any means. The weapon variety is pretty decent too. I mean, about as decent as you would expect, I guess. The original Doom game didn't have a whole lot of different weapons, but this has about the same. So you've got your shotgun, what they call the super shotgun, which is a double-barreled shotgun. Your pistol, you've got your melee attack, you've got your assault rifle, chain gun, all that kind of stuff. And really, the monsters, looking at them in like actual 3D is really, really cool. Like I would say this aside from Doom 3 is like the first time you really get to see these monsters in real 3D. And I don't really count Doom 3 as like a real Doom game because it was more based on story and just walking through hallways, which I guess is kind of like initial, the old Doom games, but this one, it really focused on the combat, which is really what made Doom, because it was like, alright, well, combat and secrets. Like, this one is kind of like, alright, you want to find the secrets, it's a big part of the game, look at the top right, it shows you how many monsters you've killed, which is about, clearing the level. Because, think about it, at the end of, like, the original Doom games, you get to the end and it tells you, oh, you've killed this many monsters, you got this many secrets, and I think it was like map exploration. I can't remember what the hell I think it was like items. I think items was the other thing. But yeah, this game does basically the exact same thing, where it wants you to find everything, it wants you to kill everything. And that's it's not a bad thing at all, it's actually perfect. The other thing is it really nails the ambiance of the original game. The feeling of like being in hell. In the initial first stages, you're on Mars, and that's to be expected. Then it kind of like creeps into hell, and then after that, I guess it's probably merging of the realms. I haven't really gotten that far yet. I've played. I think this is pretty much as far as I've gotten. I've played through here, this level, and then I wanted to do a video to talk about it. And then you've even got the chainsaw. One thing I don't like about the chainsaw is it runs off fuel, and it's not really like in the old Doom games. It was about having a weapon to replace your melee weapon that did more damage, and it was just fun to play with. In this, it's fun to play with, but its primary purpose is really just to get more ammunition for your other weapons. And I find myself not using it very often. Like, I'll use it if I press the wrong button. Like, if I'm trying to get my pistol out and I happen to press or if I'm one. I don't know. Sometimes you just pull out the damn chainsaw. I have no idea why. But, I'm not saying it's not fun to play with. It's the fact that it runs off fuel and, you have to, like, it really only has one purpose, and that's kind of lame. monsters themselves, though, are like super fun to play with, or super fun to kill. You noticed all the different glory kills that were going on. I mean, just look at this. It's awesome. I mean, you just go up and you smash their faces in. I love it. I don't typically like that either, because like in like the Warhammer game, that was probably my least favorite part of it, because you were basically required to do it to stay alive. Which in the harder difficulties, I'm sure it's like a key part of the game in this, but even then, it's not so bad because they're fun to do. Like, there's a bunch of different ways to do them, and they happen quickly, so they don't get like super repetitive. Like right off the bat, you actually have like a little bit of control over it. It's not this long, boring, drawn-out scene of we're stabbing them, great. Some of them are like I can't remember what the hell the name's, like Barons of Hell, I think is what they are. They kind of have a long, boring animation. I wouldn't say long, but it's more of a boring animation because there's only like 2 ways to kill them. But even when you get like the Berserk power up, it's really cool to watch, because when you literally tear them like in half, like rip their jaws out. It's great. It's fun to watch. It's fun to do. It feels good. So it's good. This is actually not a bad stress reliever game, in all honesty. Like, even when you die, it's kind of like funny. Like there's a point where there's like a frozen floor in one of the levels that I've come across, and if you step on the frozen floor, you like freeze to it, and like your arm rips off, like Terminator 2 style, where like he pulls his arm up and like it stays on the floor and it rips off. It's pretty funny. Even when you get blown up, like, you know, the camera will be like down on the ground and you'll see like your head fall down in front of you. So it's pretty good. One of the other things they put in new that I don't mind is, well, I would say I don't mind it. I don't think it's a great idea. But what they have is what I just got there a second ago was an armor power up. So their weapon and armor power ups, basically the armor upgrades, they let you do different things like move faster, reload faster. One of them, which was like the main one I got right off the bat, was having it map out where all the secret stuff is. So when you're running around the map, it'll tell you, hey, here's all the secret stuff that you're trying to find, which is extremely useful when you're trying to, like, you know, complete the game 100% and clear everything. It also, you know, makes it a lot easier for you to get upgrades, because getting your weapon upgrades and your armor upgrades too, they require you to find more things. Plus, it doesn't hurt to be able to kill things easier and reload faster and all that kind of junk. The weapons, weapon upgrades are mostly, some of them are pretty useful, some of them are just, they just exist. I don't really think they were necessary. I think that was just something to add in that they put in the game, just as more or less a time sink kind of deal. So I'm not saying it was a bad idea. It could have been executed a little bit better, I think. Maybe make the weapons, you know, maybe not like a specific like perk to each weapon, but maybe using your points to increase different attributes of the weapon. So, for example, instead of having to like pick a perk, you just pick like, okay, I want this to reload faster, so you could increase the reload speed. And then they could do that without, you know, making the weapons way out of balance, because, you know, you wouldn't want somebody to have like super reload on the fucking rocket launcher or some shit like that. Or ridiculously high damage on the pistol that has infinite ammo. You wouldn't want that. But yeah, I think that's would have made it a little bit more, a little more customizable, a little bit more fun, I guess is the way to put that. I don't know about more fun, but just more more enjoyable, we'll say. I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. The other thing is they have in each level they have 3 challenges. Well, all those except for the first level. And well, there's a couple different challenges. There's like challenge stages within each level, usually like 2. And then there's also little challenge missions, little side quests, I guess. Like this one, the Hellraisers that have like the cannons on their arms, the side quest is to, get them to the point of glory kill and then target their left leg or their right leg. Of course, I was being like stupid, so I kept looking at their left leg because I was looking at the one that was on my right. So I kept screwing it up. So some of them are easy and they just happen naturally as you go through, which is kind of like, alright, cool. Some of them require a little bit more planning and strategizing, and you'll have to go back and play a level again. Like there was one for using the quad damage power up to kill like 15 enemies or something, and that works out decently. That's not a bad one. But like this level, one was to find the auto map station. I was like, alright, so basically do the thing that I was gonna do anyway. It's not a challenge, it's not something I would consider hard to do. It's not something that I'd have to replay the level for. I don't mind. I don't think it's a bad thing if you say that, oh, you should go back and replay a level to do this challenge because, you weren't able to do it on the first time through. That's a good thing. That adds replayability. That makes it so that you'd want to go back and play the level over again. But yeah, some of them are just kind of not intelligent, not smart ways of doing things. And then the other thing about this is there's a lot of like story elements and a lot of like flavor text and stuff, which I'm a big fan of. I've always loved like the original Doom game. I loved reading the manual because like the story in it was always awesome, and I can still remember at the end of Doom 2, you fight the devil's brain pretty much. So if you go in and kill the devil's brain, like it tells you about like the ending of the game, and it's like, the demon's body thrashed about destroying, miles of hell and all that crap. And it was just a really cool, there's just cool imagery. There's a pretty, they just had a good style of writing. The guy that invented Doom, in charge of id Software, that was like creator of Doom, John Cormack, his outlook on the story of games was like, games should be kind of like a porno, not the games, the stories. The story should be similar to a porno because like it has to be there, but it's not really the main thing. And that's definitely true for an action game like this. Like, you don't really need the story shoved in your face on a regular basis. Like, the whole opening of Doom 3 was just like a long, okay, great, cool, got it. There's gonna be some stuff happening. Well, that's creepy. Okay, cool. The devil. Who's this Asian guy? Why is he making me do stuff? I just want to go shoot some shit. And it takes a while to get there. And then even after you do get there, there's like random interspersed moments of, hey, this guy's got a briefcase and he's gonna go kill some shit. I don't know what's going on. Don't really care about that. We'll go kill some more shit. This has a couple moments like that so far. Not to the same degree though. I mean, you basically start the game killing shit. Like, that is about the first thing that happens, is you kill shit. So that's good. That's not to say that every game doesn't need a story, or every shooter doesn't need a story. I mean, Half-Life, it had a good opening. Unfortunately, it took, if you played it once and seen it once, you don't want to keep seeing it over and over again. mean, that whole opening with the portal thing is, you know, it's more or less iconic for the series, but it's not really necessary. I mean, the first time through, yeah, it's necessary. If it was a skippable thing, it'd be better. So these are the other trials challenge things that I was talking about. So these are basically, they warp you into a different area, and you have to try and fulfill the mission goals. Some of these are actually a little bit challenging, but this one, for example, this is the first time I did this one, and I didn't even read what I was supposed to do. I just kind of like started shooting at things, and then I looked up to the left, and I was like, oh, glory kill from above, got it. And it was like, alright. I didn't even know what I was supposed to kill with glory kills, because there's more than one monster, but the only thing you could tend to get to that point was these Hell Knights. That's what these things are called. So, I mean, yeah, not a bad, it's not a bad concept, and it's another one of those things where, like, this actually, I actually like the way these panned out with these challenges and what they reward you with. Because when you get through with these, they give you a new perk, basically. And it's kind of like, you know, they're nothing like game-breaking, nothing like ground-shattering and like super, like, you need these, they're going to be all extra useful. Most of the rooms are just simple things like being able to pick up things from farther away. You know, like when enemies drop health and stuff, you pick them up easier. So that's not like that's not a super difficult or a super game-changing thing. So that's actually a pretty good use of them. I think that was a good idea. And they limit you to only 3 of them that you can like change out, so that's not bad either. And then to upgrade them, you have to actually you have to execute certain things in order to upgrade your rooms to like the next level to make them better. So yeah, not a bad thing there. Okay, and then there's also these. So you have some upgrades for your weapons. This I don't really like as much. So basically, instead of your weapons having a standard alternate fire mode, like some of them come with an alternate fire mode, like the pistol and the super shotgun, which is basically aiming and being able to fire. But all the other guns, you have to, you know, get the alternate fire mode from a crate, and you pick one of 2, and you get both, and you can swap them out on the fly. And each one has their own set of weapon upgrades, which is kind of annoying actually. But like there really they didn't need to do that. I think that's maybe a bit too much stuff to try and collect. Yeah, I prefer like they give you the weapon, you have the alternate fire modes, and that's it. Like you don't have to swap them out. You know, like the chain gun, everybody knows when you right click, if you're holding right click, it should spin without firing any bullets. That way you're ready to go. And you know, you'll move a little bit slower. That's the drawback, but at the same time, you're ready to fire at all times. So I mean, that's the way it should be. But they gave you 2 options. One is to turn it into a turret, which seems like a strange option. And then the other one is to just, you know, like I said, spin the barrel up and then be able to shoot after. So I don't know. The one thing I do really like about this is the map, though. So the map makes it a lot easier to find the secrets. Like in the old Doom, I'm not going to say I didn't like how they did the secrets, but I will say that you really had to spend a lot of time like humping every single wall and like walking over every area to try and find secrets. Like there were times that you really would have no idea. Like the first level in the old Doom game was, if you got to the end of it, there was a thing that opened up, like a platform descended down, and you can get behind it, but you wouldn't know to do that. You might not even hear it, because, you know, that's really the only indication is you hear something moving if you walk through the door. You're not, like, shooting. So, I would say the map is a lot nicer. It makes it a bit more forgiving. And like I said, with that upgrade, it makes it so that everything's automatically shown on your map. Not like, it doesn't specifically say here's where a secret is, but it tells you where items and stuff are. That way you have a better idea of, where you can find stuff, which isn't bad. And it's really nice looking at all these monsters and everything in real 3D. I mentioned that earlier, but like in the old Doom game, the original one, everything wasn't really in 3D. Like, like if you went up to monsters, like you could never see like the backside of them when they were dead. Like they just like rotated to follow the direction that you were facing, pretty much. And on top of that, you couldn't look up or look down or jump. And that was really just a limitation of how they programmed it, because they didn't really program it in 3 dimensions. They programmed it in, as a top-down shooter, and then rendered it in 3D. Like, it was a really cool way of doing things. But, I always wondered how that worked too when I was younger. I was always like, why can't I jump? Why can't I look up? Why am I always hitting things, even if they're like way high up? It's my first introduction to auto aim, I guess. But then it was later that I found out that the way they programmed it was just by programming it as top down and then rendering it based on that bitmap type of scheme. So that was pretty cool. I was kind of a weird kid, and I was trying to just figure that stuff out. I like to dissect games. But yeah, it's about to be another cool thing coming up. Probably I'd probably say it's my favorite thing about this game. And it's like the coolest part of this. So it's pretty dark in this little room here, and you wouldn't normally notice it, but I noticed that something said press E, and I was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's a lever. So there's actually a little lever in every stage. Some of them are, obvious. Some of them are not so obvious. I know a couple guys that have been playing this game, and they got through a few levels, and they haven't found any levers. And I was like, how did you not find any of them? They're usually not that hard to find. But basically, and this is where the map comes in handy. Like, you can see I'm looking, and I saw like a little blue arrow, and that was like, to me, that reminded me of one of the Doom stages from classic Doom. I was like, that's gotta be where it's at, so then I gotta go find it. But basically, the levers, when you use them, they open up a door somewhere, like a secret wall, kind of like the old Doom games. And then you have to go find wherever that opened up, and then you go into basically a classic Doom style level, which is really like the coolest thing ever. I know they did it in Wolfenstein also, but I really like how they executed it here as well, because you look at all the textures and stuff, and like you get into this game, and it's kind of like everything's like full bright and poorly textured, like an 8x8 texture. This is actually like really nostalgic and fun for me, and even have like the power-ups from the old Doom games. And then it's like you get through doing all this, and then you make your way out, and it's just like, it's so jarring. It goes from that to this. But it's a really cool part. And once you find one of those areas, it unlocks it so that you can play that entire level, that whole classic level, using your current weapons, and not like your current weapons, but using like the version of the weapons that you have now. It's hard to explain, I guess. I'm not explaining that right. It's pretty much like it's like all your weapons look like they do in this Doom. See, this is where the damn name confusion is really screwing me up right now. So the new Doom, all the weapons look like they do in the new Doom, but in the classic Doom, like all the level looks like that, but the monsters and the weapons all are the new flavor. So I think I made that make sense. I don't know, but yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say about it. This is really it really is a really fun game. I haven't finished it yet, obviously. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I would recommend buying this one. There's very few games out these days that I really think are worth the money, worth the time put into playing them. But this actually is one of the few that has come out in the past year or so. That's really fun. So if you haven't played it yet, play it. If you haven't bought it yet, buy it. Or I mean, rent it if you're on a console and you just want to like play it for a little while. I don't even know if renting a game is a thing anymore. I don't even play consoles. I just fucking buy games. But yeah, it's a fun one. So give it a try.
Against the blackened souls of the doomed, his prowess was shown. In his crusade, the Seraphim bestowed upon him terrible power and speed, and with his might, he crushed.